Making jokes about a crisis. Is it too soon? I say it's never too soon. It's not soon enough. Ladies and gentlemen, hi, I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott. And this is your right angle on some of the funny things that have been said about the COVID-19 outbreak. I decided I wanted to do this segment because somebody told me a COVID-19 joke, and I thought it was a very good joke. And so here comes the joke. It's 20 years from now. It's 2040, and a man is sitting there, and he's bouncing his grandson on his knee, and the little boy says, "Well, gee, Grandpa, what did you do back during the great COVID pandemic of 2020?" And the guy looks down at his little boy, and he says, "Well, son, I was a tail gunner on a Charmin delivery truck." I thought that was good, and so what I decided to do was to see what we could find in terms of humor. And as it turns out, everybody who's been watching these comedians, professionals, late night talk show hosts like Jimmy Kimmel and Seth and all the rest of them, Steve Colbert, they're not really very funny without writers. But what we did find was a collection of humor from actual citizens from around the world, result of Twitter. And this comes to us courtesy of the Vulture, which I think is a subset of some magazine called New York or something. I don't know. Some fly-by-night rag. Anyway, this one's going to be very different, guys. It's very different than what we're used to. I don't know why I'm going to do it this way, but I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to read you a bunch of jokes. And if you have anything you want to say about them, great. And if not, I'm going to move on because I got a bunch of them. Mostly this is just to cheer people up out here. But here's a collection of observations about the COVID-19 pandemic based on a number of people who are writing on Twitter. So let's start with this one. Joe is basically making a comment that it is now Monday, and she says, "Small weekend is over, now entering big weekend." Yeah, this one takes a little bit of time to think about. Brian Jordan Alvarez says, "People born in the year 2000 are now 36 years old. Let that sink in." This is one of my all-time favorites. Brendan is good, writes, 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31 except March, which has 8,000.
Yeah, that's right. Bill, you reminded me. So I've been putting up, since I'm not on Twitter anymore actively, I use Facebook for my brief little Twitter link things. And I've been putting up these sort of fake diary entries of me. I'm making fun of me here being trapped in the house with my family and my dogs and nothing to do. So I'll share a couple of these with you. Day 16, giving serious consideration to quitting my job and becoming a full-time pantry cleaner and reorganizer.
Okay.
Day 17, the kitchen junk drawer now looks like it received a week-long visit from the anal retentive chef. What else do we have here? Day 19, and the nagging question, how bad is a Flowbee, really?
You see what you're missing if you're not following Steve on Facebook?
Should be following me on Facebook.
Here's one from a guy named Y Green who basically says, "Oh, look, a meteor hits the earth," and the dinosaurs go, "Oh no, the economy." Jack Herrera says, "Hi, I'm a reporter." Oh, by the way, folks, we're going to go ahead and read them as they're done. We'll block out the profanity, and I'll read the profanity. It'll be bleeped out. Otherwise, the flow completely disappears. So, content warning: if you are sensitive to bleeped profanities.
Do I need to text a message to our editor to actually do what you just said he was going to do?
No, I think he'll figure it out. If not, we'll find.
I don't think he watches this far into the show. But go ahead.
Oh, that lucky SOB.
Here's one from Jack Herrera. "Hi, I'm a reporter. Are you a landlord whose tenants missed rent, or are you now trying to figure out how to evict them this month? If so, please get in touch. It's not for a story. I just want to beat your ass." One from Jonathan at Jonathan Hempel. "Why the don't toasters have a window so that you can see how toasted your bread is?" There's a tweet from a bored person living at home for too long.
Is that a joke or just a great idea?
Yeah.
It's a great idea. It's like if you got enough time to stare at your toast, and we all do these days, I can certainly sympathize with that.
But it took until COVID-19 for somebody to think of the toaster window.
I want to see that.
Something good came out of all of this tragedy. Soulmate writes, quote, I can't go because of coronavirus. Whiny, boring, and weak. I've sworn an oath of solitude till the blight is purged from these lands. Heroic, valiant. They will assume you have a sword. Impossible to check whether you really have a sword because of coronavirus.
Genius.
Alyssa Lamperis. I picked a hell of a time to have not learned how to cook for the last 29 years.
Oh, there is somebody else. Maybe you found this one already. If so, maybe I'm spoiling it. But I saw somebody put up on Twitter something along the lines of, I used to think that I wasn't getting all those household chores done because of a lack of time, but that turned out not to be true.
We've got something along those lines coming up. Here's a tweet from Kyle, who respectfully suggests, how about a moment of silence for the people who agreed to live with roommates because, quote, they wouldn't be spending much time at home anyway, unquote.
Moment of silence, indeed.
Sarah Lazarus says, when this quarantine is over, I'm getting a divorce. But you're single. Shut the up. I'm just getting one. Laura Norkin. You know, funny thing about quarantining is hearing your partner in full work mode for the first time. Like, I'm married to a let's circle back guy. Who knew? A little bit of working from home kind of a joke there. This is one of my favorites. Grace Spellman. John Hamm and I were set to have our beautiful wedding this April. However, due to the coronavirus, we'll be postponing the celebration of our love. I'm heartbroken. My apologies to our friends and loved ones. And don't ask John about this. He's busy, which I find subtle and elegant and absolutely terrific.
That is lovely. I'll share a couple more from my fake diary.
Sure.
Here. Day 21, finally got the gummy bears sorted and arranged.
Mm-hmm.
Important work. Hang on. My screen just disappeared. Where'd it go? Here we go. Day 22. Margaritas are breakfast food. And this one goes right to I don't know if you've seen the news feeds of the idiot politicians who don't know how to wear their masks, their N95 masks. But a little advice for everybody: to avoid nasty bugs, wear your N95 mask so it covers both ears. If Khan thinks you're responsible for the death of his wife.
I did see a
Tim
picture
Dillon,
of Maxine Waters with her mask, like it started on her upper lip and it went down, her nose was sticking out.
Got to cover the nose.
Yeah. She's in charge of the coronavirus response. Country's in the very best of hands. Tim Dillon, I think, really puts his hand on or his finger on the spiritual issues facing the country. He tweets, there's going to be a lot of pressure over the next few days to talk to friends and family. Fight it. Stay positive.
Yeah, my wife asked me the other day, she's like, hey, now that you have some time, it'd be good to call these people who are kind of like shut-ins and elderly people and stuff like that. And I'm like, I just came face to face with what a really awful person I am.
my looming mortality has forced me to confront these issues.
Right. And you'd be amazed at how comfortable I am with it, though.
I don't want to call anybody ever. I don't care how much time I have.
We pointed out with the Windows on toasters earlier that some practical ideas are coming out of the COVID-19 crisis. B.W. Carlin says, idea, why don't we all combine our $1,200 stimulus checks and buy the Knicks?
Hey.
This one is one of my favorites and apparently has a video to accompany it, but I don't have the video. But this one is just great from Ryan Conk, apparently. Here's what Ryan says. 1 year ago, I was sure my writing career was over. I had writer's block. I couldn't shake, and I was starting to fear it was permanent. But today, I'm proud to say that I can now do that basketball trick where you go behind your back with your shirt. Any writers out there would certainly have that one.
You know, I did think that going into this hiatus, when I knew that I wasn't going to be working my 40-hour-a-week job, that I would have a chance to revisit the draft of that book that about a year or two ago, I wrote 40,000 words on. And I thought, wow, this is great. I'll be able to finish that sucker right up. And I tell you, I have started to finish that sucker right up several times now, and I can't get past the first paragraph.
You're going to love this. Going to love this next one then, because Julia Shiplett actually captures the entire country's mood when she says, me in January 2020, all I need is a month to myself with zero plans and nothing to do so that I can write this pilot. Me in April 2020. Okay, you know what? Yeah, exactly.
This is not actually a joke, but this is something that I found tremendously funny. There's a pair of pandas, I think at Yingying and Lili, somewhere in China or Hong Kong or somewhere. Anyway, they have been trying to get these pandas to mate for like 13 years, and they never would do it. Not just to have offspring, but just to mate. But apparently, it's quite a dance that these pandas have to do. Well, now they shut the zoo down like January 26th. And for the first time ever that they know of, these two pandas have actually mated. And the people in the zoo are all excited about it. And I just thought, well, yeah, they finally have some privacy.
There's not 20 million people, 20 million people watching us, waiting for us to mate the whole time. It's amazing.
Come on, do it.
We're in
Can't
love.
get it up? Come on, do it. Show me.
They're like, we're in love. We didn't want to make a porno.
Sam Morrill has a cultural reference that I think is actually spot on, really does describe this current situation. He says, feels like we're all in prison, but it's the prison in Goodfellas where you still get to make pasta.
Shaving the garlic.
This one is apparently from Dykes for Bernie. And the quote is, celebrities like, oh my God, I'm quarantined in my 30-room mansion with my personal theater, Olympic pool, and 50-acre yard for the next month. I'm so bored. Just know we're all in this with you guys. Thank you, celebrities.
At this point in the show, Steve and Bill and I will each be doing a shirtless handstand.
Paul McCallion has a couple of comments about how celebrities and famous people seem to be getting to the line in front of testing. He tweets, oh my God, guys, I just got off the phone with my agent and I'm in talks for a COVID-19 test. They're mainly looking for names right now, but they asked me to send a self-tape. Wish me luck. This one's brutal and cool. Marty says, Margot Robbie's on her way to receive her Oscar for Best Leading Actress in Birds of Prey thanks to every other movie being postponed.
Literally every other movie.
This may be my favorite. It's certainly one of my top three. Dylan Wheeler, The Perfect Quarantine Schedule. 4 o'clock, wallow in self-pity. 4:30, stare into the abyss. 5 o'clock, solve world hunger, but tell no one. 5:30, jazzercise. 6:30, dinner with me. I can't cancel that again. And 7 o'clock, wrestle with my self-loathing. Yeah, pretty much repeat as needed.
I've been pinned to the mat. I tried the staring into the abyss thing to see if the abyss would stare back into me, and it turns out the damn thing got bored 2 weeks ago and left.
Blair Sochi says, I slept 14 hours last night, absolutely locked and loaded for a big day of hand washing and looking out the window. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is about it for these first round of tweets on the COVID-19 situation. It's nice to get a sense that the country is laughing at this thing is about the only thing you can do. And it's more than just laughing, guys. Maybe these would be good closing thoughts for you. How many of those tweets do you think really actually genuinely did get to a deeper truth about what we're going through right now? I don't mean it in like a maudlin way, but really put their finger on the things that we're all experiencing together. And it's kind of nice to hear things when other people are basically expressing maybe not the most noble thoughts we have during this time. What do you say, Scott?
Yeah, I think there's an inclination in humanity to engage in, what used to be called gallows humor. At the worst times in our history, there was humor in the death camps. I mean, there was any terrible situation that humans have ever been in. There's always this inclination to say, you know what, it's going to feel better if we can laugh at the circumstance because that's something we can do. We can actually make a joke. We can actually laugh about something. And that connects us in our humanity more effectively than an army of psychologists, which I find terrifying, as a matter of fact.
Steve, how about you? It's by the way, I'd be interested in your take on this. It's always amazing to me, becomes more amazing every day. That one of the things that this virus is showing us is just how awful the professionals are when you strip away the makeup and the writers and the all of the props and the lighting, just how awful and mundane they look and how unfunny they look. And then it's the American people from around the world in some cases. Who really seem to be able to get the best handle on these trying times.
Yeah, the modern entertainment industry is not exactly the USO keeping the troops' spirits up when times are hard. It's us doing that. And based on your sample here, Bill, we're doing a really, really good job of it. To get to your point, though, did any of these jokes reveal any essential truths, foundational truths, that kind of a thing? And I'm going to say, yeah, almost all of them. Maybe, in fact, all of them. There's a comedian whose name it slipped my brain, but I saw a show a couple of times in San Francisco, and he'd gotten big enough that his show had a name, and it was Only the Truth is Funny. And now that I've said that, maybe
Absolutely
somebody
correct.
will remember what his name is. And as I said, I got to see his show a couple of times. It was great, but can't remember his name. And yeah, Only the Truth is Funny. And that's why we're laughing at these, Bill, because every one of them got to the essence of the awfulness. But it's a tribute to us that's where we find our humor.
You bet. That's how we get through it. Against the onslaught of humor, nothing can stand, said Mark Twain. He ought to know. And so today we'll leave you with just a couple of quick, somewhat arable moments from one of my all-time favorite comedians, the extremely talented and extremely underrated Norm Macdonald, who apparently did a tight 5-minute set on COVID-19. Here's some of his thoughts.
Is this
to take you home.
the portion of the show where we get demonetized by YouTube for copyright violation?
Well, we're demonetized by YouTube anyway.
Good point.
Should I run it? Yeah, I'm going to run it anyway, down with it. Just because it's worthwhile. So, here's a little bit of Norm Macdonald for you on the way out, and we'll see you next week on Right Angle.
Well, it's funny how Big Pharma is so evil till now. It's like, what's it, $200 a pill? Yeah, that's good. That's fine. I'll take. Give me all you got. But and now I'm sniffling, and I don't know what that is. Could be the cocaine, I guess. Remember the good old days when washing your hands didn't take 3 hours? Like A, B, C, D. Just take me now. But it was a good idea you made. It was a good choice tonight to come out and sit beside total strangers. At least I might be here. I can run, you know. At least I can flee when I see it. I don't want to alarm anybody at all, but I could sneeze on you. And it would be the equivalent of like a 9mm, you know. You can't have bad thoughts, you know. You gotta have positive feelings, because those don't work either. Because the deadly virus has no idea you feel real positive. They feel pretty positive too. And we don't have a cure for them. They obviously have a cure for us. Oh, I feel something. It's only the virus twisting around my brainstem. I think it's feel my brainstem a little liquefying. Oh well. Nobody said it'd be a rose garden, you know. Who knows, you know? I mean, who knows how you're gonna die? I mean, we all know now. But think back a week ago. Think back a week ago. I loved back a week ago. Moving way too fast. But you gotta be prepared, you know what I mean, in this year life for any eventuality. And that means being prepared. I'm not talking about buy a can of corn. That's only cosmetic. I'm talking about having a whole room that's locked and filled with firearms. And you gotta be prepared, you know what I mean? Listen, I never thought I'd say this in my life, but I'd shoot my son in the belly. If he had a sneeze or anything. I mean, he's a great kid, I love him, but He's never been on the TV, you know?